want to do a quick watercolor and then do a little bit of acrylic. Why? I don't know, because I've been on the computer so long. I need a little bit of painting therapy. All right. So join me as we get up in here. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure that this, number one, that the computer does not fall off. Number two, that you can see. All right. So let me move this up. Okay. Let me slide this up a little bit. And I'm going to come right back to this, because usually when you're painting with the watercolor, it can move along pretty quickly. It just depends. Oh, excuse me, guys. I feel a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. Oh, boy, boy. It is allergy season. All right. Let me grab a tissue just in case. But I've got my water. Got my watercolor paints here, and I'm going to spray them down just a little bit to kind of hydrate them and get them going. Whatever it is that you're using, hopefully you have your download, or whatever it is that you're working on, or if you're just watching. Once again, this is Bernaid Flournoy, art teacher by day, portrait painter by night, and paint party instructor. And I make art kits too, guys, on the weekends. All right, so let me spray it. I'm going to just take my little handy dandy bottle and spray it off camera. I don't want it near the computer or anything. Okay. Now, once again, feel free to change up the colors, as you like. You have the freedom and the artistic license to do so. I'm just going to go ahead and clip this here. So that's a good tool to have. Now, this is just, my Dollar Tree clipboard, right? So if you're working at home, it's just very handy. So no matter wherever you are, make sure you're protecting your surface, maybe a little piece of plastic, or, a couple of, Walmart bags placed out there, but definitely maybe grab a garbage bag and lay it over your area so you don't have any paint where you don't want it. All right, so now let me make sure I am referring to our let's see, can I put it side by side like that? Oh, I'm just going to show you this right here for a moment, and then we're going to go right back, right? Okay. Now, I think I'm just going to stick with the pink. I'm just going to wet this just a little bit here. Now, your printer ink, it may bleed a little bit. Mine usually will a little bit. But I'm not going to use too much water. And if that seems to be a problem, then you may have to take it to your local print shop. Okay. All right. So this one is going to be nice and light. And like I said, it goes pretty fast. And I'm painting right over the black areas. And if you'd like, you might want to use a little bit of colored pencil in some areas. Now, one thing I notice about the cardstock, you can't scrape it or rub it too hard, because it will start to peel up on you. Pill up, All right, so we've got our bowl going real fast. We're going to kind of keep that light, and then I'm going to go in here with just a little bit of just paint on my little corner. And I might go back in here with another color here in a moment to make that darker. All right, so I'm going to go up in here just a little bit. That's kind of in the shadow there, a little bit there. So we're going to keep that moving. All right, so automatically, right away, it starts to come to life with just a little bit of color. And while my paint is still wet, I'm just going to blend it just a little bit over here. Okay. Just kind of thinking a bow is not flat. The ribbon is flat, but the bow is three-dimensional. So we're not going to do a whole bunch of modeling here, a little bit. Okay, just a little. Okay, so I don't know if you see the little subtlety. All right, so then now we're going to keep it moving. Let me flash what we have. Did I add it to stage? Let me add it to stage. All right, so that's what we're doing. That's we're going to keep it moving. So now we're going to need just a little bit more. I add the water so that the paper is not so thirsty. Because if you paint if you add the paint without adding a little water, that paper is going to absorb it really, really fast, and it might not be able to blend out. You may end up with, and some people like it, some hard shapes, hard brush strokes that will remain no matter how much water you decide to add. All right. I am probably going to have to come back through here and add a slightly different color. I'm going over here on the side and I'm really making this dark. So I didn't really add any water over here because I wanted more of an intense color over here. So I'm just kind of wiggling my brush around. I've got enough paint on here. But maybe you might see what I was talking about. Oh, I need a little bit of water. Need to pick up a little bit more paint over here. All right, so you see this one kind of comes together really fast. And it's watercolor. If you go outside the lines a little bit, you know, it's all right. The watercolor police are not coming after you. Okay, let me turn this way so that I can raise this up a little bit more. All right, so you see that comes together really, really quickly. Let me add it to the stage. Okay, and we're going to keep on moving. All right. All righty. Just touching that up just a wee bit. And I do see that my ink is coming up in here just a little bit here. I am going to add a little bit of purple to that. So that's not as bright. You know what? I'm going to grab a little bit of green to kind of neutralize that out a little bit. Red and green are on the opposite sides of the color wheel. And if you think about Superman and Kryptonite, Kryptonite cancels out the power. And so a complementary color right next to its complement adds life and makes it pop. But if you mix in a little bit of that complementary color, it kind of neutralizes it. That's the word I'm trying to go after. Now I'm going to pop this reference right back up on the stage. And I was trying to see, I think I added blue in the area around the shoe there. So, yep, a little bit of blue right around up in here. So, and I'm showing you like like you can see it, but I realize, you know, you can't see what I'm doing right now. That's okay. Let me come back up over here. All right. So in this area here, we're going to do a little pop of blue. So I'm going to go to a 1/4 inch. Well, this was a 1/2 inch flat. So yeah, this is a flat, not a bright. I had to stop and think for a moment. The flats are a little bit longer, you know, and the brights are a little bit more square, a little shorter. So this is a 1/2 inch flat, and you might want to make sure you have a 1 inch flat, especially if you're doing a large area. So this is a 1/4 inch flat. So I'm going to use my 1/4 inch flat instead of my round. Now the rounds are round because the metal is like this, but it kind of comes to a nice pinpoint. All right, so let me go in here and get this blue. I'm excited about this part. And because this area is so tiny, I will be able to move kind of fast, so I don't have to really worry about any of the lines that could form. I want to knock that blue down just a little bit. So I'm going to go over here and get just a little bit of black. I think I have too much in there. I'm going to go get just a smidge of black and knock this down just a little bit, neutralize it. I don't think I have enough, but I don't want too much because I still want it to read as blue. All right, so let me go back and grab a little bit more blue along this edge right here. And then we can go ahead and get ready for the acrylic version. Because I just wanted you to see that you could move this stuff along pretty fast. And you'd probably be better at it if you didn't have any coffee. All right. I'm just talking to myself. That's all. All right. So for a quick, easy, fun paint along, you can grab what you need and keep it moving. Let me dab this out just a little bit. I'm going to add brown. Why? I don't know. Just want to. Add a little bit of brown there, and it looks like I may have to come back and grab a little bit more. And I'm just going in with whatever water's on my brush. All right. Let me grab a little bit of purple and a little bit of black, just to make that a little bit darker. I thought I was going to have a special guest painting today, but they were detained a little bit. And so, things happen and we keep on moving. You have to. All right. So that's enough of that detail. We could sit there and kind of mess around with that, a little bit more, but I'm not. I wanted this to pop really, really nicely here. All right, that little blue right there. And so we're going to add a little bit of pink back here to this back part. Let me pop in the reference. We're going to add in a little bit of pink to this last little section here and keep on moving. All right, I'm cleaning out my brush, getting the blue up out of there. I need just a little bit of water. And we will begin with the acrylic. All right. Let me reshape this brush just a little bit because I need it to be flat. Okay. And I'm just taking just the very tip of that brush to move that paint along. Like you're sweeping a little bit, I don't know if that makes any sense. But you know what? I keep forgetting after I leave the reference, and I'm going to pop that up there again. It defaults to a smaller screen size. But now that I know it, okay. Now I'm just going to add a few little touches here and there just to make it pop just a little bit more, and then we're ready for the acrylic. How fun and easy and quick is this? Now, I know it will probably take you a little bit longer if you're not, an experienced painter. And when I say that, I do not mean anything by it, because I'm still learning. If somebody told me to paint a car or paint a dog, honey, or paint a flower, I am a beginner. All right, so I'm adding just some pure color to intensify it just a little bit, make it pop a little bit. And then we're going to leave this alone here in a moment. Okay, I'm just going to go back up in here, make this a little bit darker right here. We'll have a little bit of this pink right here in this area. All right. I need just a smidge over here of this pure color. And I'm just taking whatever water I have in my brush, and we're just going to work it up in here. All right. I think we're good. Could go with maybe a little bit more, and I will. Let me get just a little bit more right here, as that heel is out of that light. And then when you're in doubt, just pull out a pair of heels, and look and see how the light hits them. All right, y'all. Okay. We're going to come on over here. This is a little bit too much, ma'am. You're doing a little bit too much over here. I need a little bit. Okay, let me just to pop this out a little bit here. Okay. I'm just going to blend with whatever I have in my brush and just kind of work that out. Little tiny circles. All right. Let me pop over. Let me see how we're going to do this. All right. Hello there. Just going to pop over right quick. Let's see if the light is going to let us do what we need to do real fast. And I'm going to share. I thought it was going to share. Let's click the button again. Oh, why am I so tiny? Oh, let me remove the paint cam for just a moment. Still tiny. Come on now. We got to do better. Okay, that's a little bit better. So this one, quick, fast, easy watercolor. You can use crayons, colored pencils, but this is a cute Easter heel. It's in my shop. I just put it in there today. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, go get it. And if not, share this live or share the links with somebody that you know that is. All right, let's reset. Let me put the paint cam back in. Let me add to stage. All right. We are now going to do it on the canvas, but what we're probably going to do is a variation. Okay. Now I love having, let me come back and share. All right. So let me see if I can find the variation on here. All right. Look at that purple. That's nice. And I want to maybe do something with that blue. That blue is talking to me. So I think I'm going to do something with that blue or that green. So, yep, let's get back to it. All right. Okay. All right. Let me reset. This is Bernaid Flournoy, art teacher by day, Portrait painter by night. Let's make sure that you guys can see. Paint party instructor on the weekends. And now I'm going to set my watercolors to the side. And I've got my paint pod here, my paint palette here. Let me make sure I'm giving you the right terms. And I'm looking as we're getting ready to reset to see if I need to grab a little bit of blue. And I think I'm just going to go with some regular schmegular blue. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze out a little bit. That is probably more than what we need. Now you may want to paint the background. You're free to do that. In today's example, probably will not. Who knows now? Honey, because once you start moving and being creative, you know, who knows? So let me pop the reference back up there. Let's see. I may do a light purple bow. May not. So the acrylic paints are different than the watercolor paints. The watercolor paints are more transparent. You can see through them a little bit more. Some of them have some additives in them to make them a little chalky. That would be more like the tempera paints and maybe the gouache. But yeah, these are acrylics. Acrylics are more opaque. Some colors, no matter what, oil or acrylic, some colors are very, and let me remove that. Here we go. I keep forgetting it defaults to the wrong screen. I don't like that. So yellows are usually very, very transparent, whether or not you get the cheap of the cheap or the most expensive pigments. So when you see the reds and yellows and blues in the art store, if they're artist quality, they're going to be very expensive. But the blacks and whites and the neutral colors are going to be less expensive. These pigments are, I guess, coming out of nature. Some of them are synthetic now, but, you know, I have to brush up on my history with that to tell you where things come from. All right, I may need a squeeze of white. Let me grab that. I am so glad to have everything right here on hand in the studio. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of white and we're ready to rock and roll. We may need a little bit more. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this blue and mix this over here. I don't know. I just want this baby blue for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and mix a little bit more. I don't want to spread it out. I want to try to kind of keep it together. I'm going to grab a little bit more of that blue. All right, let's go. How pretty is that? And I may have a little bit too much water in my brush, but we're going to keep on moving. Now, if there's an area where it's like you mess up, you might want to have a little piece of paper towel or something and just come right along that edge and find that edge again before you move on. All right, so we're going to go along here. Now the watercolor, probably a little bit faster. The acrylic might take a little bit longer, but I'm okay. Like I said, I just had to get off that computer today for a minute. I'm going back. I've got too much work to do. I'm going back. All right. I am going to bring a little bit of this blue down along the side here so I can kind of mix and blend as I go along. I can always come back after it dries, but, you know, while I'm right here. And I'm really just right now just trying to press out a lot of that paint so I can get it right near that edge. And I can kind of drag it along. Okay. All right. I'm going to go in here and clean this part up. Just blend it just a little bit here. Like I say, right near my edge right here. So you'll see me kind of do a little bit of a messy kind of whatever this is that I do. Scribble, scrabble, and then I'll go and smooth it out. Now, I don't think I remember any technique, any vocabulary word to describe that technique. Maybe it's scumbling or something like that. It's like when you're moving fast. So I just call it scribble, scrabble. Okay, so that's the academic word of the day, scribble, scrabble. Okay, feel free to use it. Matter of fact, I think I'm gonna have to make a post about it. So I'm going to go right on ahead while I have this here. No, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and get this so I don't have to fight. I'm going to go ahead and get this 1/4 inch. Ooh, I hope I don't have too much water in here. Whoop, got too much paint. How about that? Let me go ahead and get that out. Anytime you have too much paint, don't sit there and fight with it unless it's a big open area. Go ahead and get rid of that excess paint. You could just simply wipe it back on your palette or your plate, whatever it is that you're using. But my plate is my palette. How about that? Okay, I'm going to come right on up here while I have this light blue right here. I'm going to come right on around here. And you'll see me kind of dab a little bit because I want to make sure that the paint is going into that texture of the canvas. Depending on what kind of paper you're using, most of the time the paper really, you don't have to fight with it as much for the texture. Now I may have to come along back here and clean that up with a little bit of white. But I'm going to grab a little bit of that white to kind of get a little reflection back here. And if I want to be really subtle with it, I would come back maybe with a little bit of pink or purple back there. All right, let me make sure I'm in the right spot because sometimes I am not. Okay, so I'm not sure what color I want to accent that with yet. What I am going to do, I'm going to grab a little bit of this black with what I have on my brush. And we don't have to go super dark, but I just wanted to be a little bit neutral on the inside. I might need to grab just a smidge more. So this, I painted the pink bowl first on the last one. And so this one I'm going to paint last. And sometimes it depends on what you're using, might determine the order in which you paint. Sometimes it doesn't matter. But sometimes you have to learn what it is that you like and what you can control. So the bow is going to be on top. All right, so we are getting that on down there. Let me pop in our, okay. We may or may not stick to that. Let me make sure I go right back. All right, so we're coming right on along here. And I'm sorry, I don't have a bit of music playing today. I just realized. And I will be having some different music coming up. I'm going to say definitely May and June. I may start to work it in next month. But April is going to be a big pivoting month for the painted pose. And I'm excited about what's coming. If you're on my email list, I will be spilling the beans a little more there soon. So what is this? The 29th, my sister's birthday. I hope she's having a good day. I'll have to check back in. All right. Now, sometimes you need that second coat to make sure everything is coming together. I kind of like this blue right here. It's just, I don't know. It's what I needed today. All right. So I'm going to paint the bow last. And we're moving and grooving. It's a simple shoe, simple shape, not a lot of complexity to it, but it's elegant and very, very graceful. Let's see, am I going in the right direction? Will I be able to catch any of the light for you? Oh, we're catching a little bit. All right, so we're going to continue on. All right. Let's continue on. And I'm trying to decide which way I'm going to go. Let me pop on and show you the other, and I'm pointing like you guys can see me pointing on the screen, but yeah, I think I'm going to go with a darker blue around the heel area. So, and that's not hard to do. I'm just going to take a little bit of this black and swoop in some of that blue right here. I'm going to get a little bit more up in here and mix that up. I'm going to get just a little water to help me move it along. So yeah, let's go ahead in here. I need a little bit more water. All right, I am choosing the round this time. Okay, and I've got plenty of water on here, plenty of paint. I just have to sweep it around. Okay. I wanted to use that 1/4 inch flat, but it's like, we're getting kind of delicate right here. So I better use the brush that comes to a point right here. Let me go back up. It's almost like I'm mopping up with water right here. I'm going to get just a little bit more of that paint. All right, that's better. Honey, and these little hands are moving. And I know it's not nerves or anything. It's that caffeine. It's the caffeine. Oh, boy. All right. Now, I may want to come back and find that line. I need just a smidge of water because I can't get it into this fabric. So some people might opt in to stick with painting on paper. And some people, you know, they paint kind of thick, and so they might not mind the fabric. All right, so we've got that part together right there, and we're just going to bring that on around. And let me get a little bit more water for this blue. And we're just I'm going to start in this bigger area right here first. Okay. Go back around and swoop it back up. And this is almost like a bit of a blue-green a little bit. Go back and pick up a little bit more of this paint. And I'm resting my little pinky finger. Well, doggone it, it's done it again. I forget that after I share the reference images, that I have to manually each time make sure I'm on the correct configuration of the screen. I apologize. All right. Oop. Saw myself go right outside that line. All right. I'm just going to bring this kind of dark color right on around back here. And we will work it out. All right. Going back to that lighter blue. Kind of in here, I'm kind of blending and melding things together. All right. And just a smidge of water. Just another little dab of paint to mix with the water that's already there, and we should be good. I'm just going back and forth near that edge. Okay, so let me go in here. Let me just put my brush in the water, and I wipe out most of the paint off to the side. And I'm going to go in here and get just a little smidge more of this black. In this blue. Right in here because it needs a little bit of a second coat. And that's good that it dried out a little bit. That second coat is key for a lot of the paintings. Okay, so I am coming right back along. I need a little bit of water to make sure that this tip, I can move it along like a marker. There we go. Now I feel better about myself and others. To smooth that out a little bit. All right, so let me clean that out. And let me get just a little bit more of this lighter color. Okay. There we go. All right. Gonna come right on up in here. And then we'll be ready to paint that bow. Now I think I got just a wee bit too much water. Yep, I know I did. Let me thin this out, flatten this out over here on this plate, and we can move faster if it's a little bit flat. Okay. All right, there are a couple of areas that I see I missed the first time around, and so we're going to hit that up really, really fast. I'm going to take some of this light color back here on the reflection of that hill back there. Come on down here. All right, I'm going to go. Whoops. Let's see when you overdo it. I'm going to lighten this part up just a smidge. And I have to come back and clean that up with a little bit of white. We're only live. Let me do a quick tip for you. I kind of treat the canvas like it's a floor, and I'm gonna mop this little area up that I went out of the lines without any paint. I've got just nothing but water in here, And I'm going back over here and I'm going to dry it out really, really, really well. And I'm going right back with just the tip of that brush. Now nobody knows I messed up. That's all right. I almost want to leave that white. Okay, it's happening. It's starting to happen a little bit. So we need just a little bit more of a highlight there. Let me go back to the reference here. And you can stick as close to the reference as you need to. And I know a lot of beginners will stick with that, but choose whatever color you want. If it's a gift, think about the color that the person enjoys, or if it's hanging in your home, you know what you like. All right, so let me see if I have enough white here. I may have to add a little bit more. Let me go ahead and be a little bit bold right here. Add a little bit right here. All right. Coming on around this part right here. All right. Just going to come right on around this part right here. And we're going to keep on moving. I might be doing a little bit too much, as per the normal, but that's okay. So I'm going to go right back in here with this. I don't know what, it's not, well, it might be Robin's Egg Blue. It's not quite Tiffany, because Tiffany has a little bit of yellow in there, like a little bit of turquoise. So good. I'm glad, because this needs a second coat right here. And then we're going to finish up with the bow, and we should be good. This is our second one. We did one in watercolor, and then one using the craft acrylic paints that I have right here. I'm going to come right back up in here. All right. Now it could be as painterly or smooth as you'd like it. I'm coming right back here with a little bit more of this blue right here. Just feeling a little brave right about here. Okay. And I'm just trying to blend it fast with whatever I have in my brush right now. Okay. Let me add a little bit right here on the side. Kind of make it feel like it's three-dimensional. All right. All right, y'all. Now it's time to handle that bow. Where are we? Yep, we should be able to get that bow done in about 6 minutes. I'm coming up in here with just a little bit. And I'm going right on up in here. I need the smaller brush, though. Let me see if I can grab a little bit of that neutral black to go in these shadows just a little bit. Oh, yeah, we're taking a chance getting close to that edge, but sometimes you have to. All right, so while I've got a little bit of that on my brush, let me grab just a little bit of black. Now that was probably a little too much. But we're going to go right back up in here. All right. Still have some of that light color in my brush. And I think while that's drying up here, I'm going to go right on down here to the bottom and just go right on and paint this a dark blue-black. All right. So while I have a little bit of that there, I'm coming right up underneath this hill. Just kind of blending that out a little bit here. Let me clean this up just a little bit. Okay. All right. So now we are ready for that bow. Let me see if I can move this down here. Yeah, we are Making this shoe talk, baby. You're ready for that bow. So I am going to clean out this big brush just a little bit so I can move fast. Let me drop these other ones in the water. Yep, so now we're getting 2 paintings. What did I do with the other one? Yeah, we're getting 2 paintings done. All right, so here we go. I need a little bit more white probably. And here I go with that scumbling again. It is an official term, but I call it scribble scrabble. So I'm going right over these lines. Let me get just a little bit more of this paint. Okay. And a little bit more water, and that's going to help me move this along. Now you may want to have some clear acrylic medium. Usually I use the matte medium because it's not shiny. If you want it to shine, I would just put that on as like a gloss sealer kind of. Sometimes the glitter paints have some of that. So I'm going over that dark part. And I'm getting close to this edge over here. I've got enough paint where I'm just kind of brushing it near that edge. So this is kind of why I saved that bow for last, because that bow is sitting on top. Now we're not going to be too uber careful with this because it's a simple painting and those shapes are nice and big, and you know, it's already elegant and nice. All right, I am going to get close to this edge right here. I'm pressing down to get whatever paint I already have out of this brush. So here we go along this edge. Now you do what you're comfortable with. I am the scribble scrabble girl. Okay. And then I'll go clean it up later. All right, so let me smooth this out up here. And then I'm just going to go and find some of these dark areas. And I'm going to get my 1/4 inch brush. Oh, here it is over here. Drying out. Hanging out over here on my palette. Let me clean this out so I know what I have up in here. Make sure I don't have any black in there because I don't want it to be neutralized. And I'm going to stand up so I can see this part here. Let me flash the reference images. I'm just basing it loosely on what's going on there. I just wanted that blue on blue. It's just down in my sha-na-na, right? So what I'm going to do right fast without any water, I'm going to go and lift some of this back up. Almost like I'm painting in reverse. Because I don't really want it to be super, super dark. And now we're just going to go add, need just a smidge of water because this has been sitting over here for a moment. So let's make sure we got enough paint and enough water. So now I'm standing, I can see some of the stuff that I missed. So I'm glad that we're near the end. Kind of doing almost like a second coat. Even though this first one is still kind of wet, I want to blend. I want to be able to blend. I'm going to have to get a little bit more white, I do believe. All right. Need just a smidge of water. And right here along this edge right here. Honey, come on, little coffee hands. There we go. And just a little bit of pure white, but it's so thick. All right. do your brush strokes as you feel comfortable. And I'm just going right here with a little bit of strong white right there. Coming right back here to the top. Ooh, this is so thick. Let me come right back to this edge and come back right here on this edge. And I need to go back in here and blend this blue around. Oh, need a little water. Come right along this edge here. Don't want it to be too dark, too light. This is why we should have neutralized. I'm going to just press out some of this paint. Okay. Now we can come back with a little bit of black and find some of those lines. But I really don't want to. Let me go back up in here with this neutral. I am really going to have to find my small little spritzer. So sometimes I don't want to get a lot of paint. A lot of water in my paint. I just want to, just coming back in here. Some of this doesn't need to be super dark. Ooh, come on, fingers. Doesn't need to be black. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and use that neutral right there. Let me find this tip. Otherwise, I am not going to be happy with that area. I need something right here on this tip, right here. Let me get a little white. Okay, I feel better about myself and others. All right, just to finish that edge up, and a little bit too much water. But it happens. All right, I'm just smoothing this edge back here, and I probably need to get just some straight white on this corner right here. Oop, too much water, y'all, too much water. All right, I'm gonna come back, clean that edge up. You won't even know that I had a big old mistake over there. You gotta be careful around these little turns right here because they add that subtlety and that elegance that we like and we yearn for. So I'm going to add just a little bit of smidge of this white right here on this corner. A little bit right here. Ooh, come on now, little fingers. Yep. All right. So I think we did had good time to get 2 paintings done today. So I feel better. Now I can go back and get on that computer. What am I doing? Am I messing up? I don't know. I can't quite decide quite yet. I think the recipe on this canvas has changed. All right. I'm okay with this, y'all. I'm all right. Like I say, I just didn't want that to be a dark black. Just this, well, we messed that up. Let's fix that a little bit. Man, I have spread out this paint. So, need some white over here, y'all. Okay. Add a little bit right here to help pop that white accent out a little bit. And I think we're okay. Boy, this is drying out over here. But we're about to wrap this up. But I could sit here for another day and just go back and forth over the subtleties. Okay, but we won't do that. Need just a little bit more white. All right, I think we are wrapping this part up right here. I think I need this to be a little bit brighter right here. I'm trying not to mess up because I know my paint is drying out. Okay. All right, that was a little section that I messed up a little bit. All right, we're going to say that we're done. That's what we're going to say. We're going to clean this part out. I'm going to go right around this edge right here where I made, add another little faux pas. Too much water. All right, we're all right. We're going to leave this alone. Going to leave this alone because like I say, I could sit here and piddle, piddle, piddle. I need a little bit of brightness right here. All right. Now, I don't know what you were working on, but you may have just needed to chill. And that is perfectly all right as well. Okay, this is the other one that we did. I'm going to pop. Ooh-wee. Yep, I needed that break. All right, are we in the right spot now? So we use our watercolors, and this one took maybe 15 minutes, maybe a little bit less. Had a good time with the watercolors. Let's see. Do we have all our lights? I'm waiting for that to kind of kick in. It's not kicking in, is it? Okay, there it is. That's great. That's fun. And, oh, I guess I could slide that back down. Let me come back up over here. So there we go. For our, what do you call it, our YouTube. Let me move it back over. Let me get these glasses down a little bit. Let me add some joy because I really do have it. But I just can't see. I can't see. All right, so this is cool. Trying not to get this glare going, but this is cool right here. All right, move over. I could have maybe gone a little bit darker, but that's okay. And then now I'm just gonna hold this one up. All right, well, that's fun. We did go a little bit darker. Ooh, ooh la la, that's fun. Straighten it up, girl. All right, so 2 quick paintings. In probably less than an hour because I had to talk a little while. All right, let's just keep that all the way real. All right, so I am so grateful. Let me stop my paint cam. Let me stop sharing and everything. All right, we're about to get out of here. About to call it a day. What are we doing? Let me hold up the other one. Let me hold them both up. What are we doing, y'all? Which one? Okay, had to figure it out. All right, so here we go. This one is coming in closer. Try not to get the glare. Try not to show the girl sweating too much. Which one? This one is coming back. This one is going forward. Let me get my fingers out the way for my YouTube thumbnail. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. And for the replay viewers, I hope you were able to fast forward through some of the foolishness. And if you don't know by now, you should. Shame on you. Shame on you. Well, until the next time, who knows? I might pop on tomorrow. I'm not making any promises. I'm not doing that anymore. Because I might just wait till Wednesday, Saturday. Well, anyway, have a great rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me. All right. Till the next time. Spread some art joy.